You guys, welcome back to the channel. In a number of my videos, I've always preached that we need to count all the wins we can get. And I still believe that to be very true, but in the case of the story we're about to go over today, I feel like this win is a little shrouded into some potential issues in the future. Now, I don't like to be a doomsdayer. I don't like to think of things in a negative light if I can avoid it, but it's hard not to see the writing on the wall on this story. I'm telling you guys, it seems like there's a little bit of a long in-game plan going on here. So at face value, if you just read the headline of the story, you're kind of like, yes, that's a huge win. You love to see it. But when you start actually reading the story and getting a little bit more details, that's when you start to realize that there's a little bit of something going on here. I'm not really huge into conspiracy theories, but I feel like this one is pretty damn obvious. All right, let's stop beating around the bush and let's jump into the headline. World Swimming bans transgender athletes from women's events. Now, immediately when you read that, you're thinking, huge win. Obviously, a gigantic win. I have made a number of videos already in the past on why this should be banned. A lot of it going over the biological differences between men and women, highlighting things like men having larger hearts, larger lungs, denser bones, stronger ligaments, stronger tendons, more fast twitch muscle fibers, and a number of other things. Also highlighting that even with hormonal therapy, while some of those things will get negated or nerfed down a little bit, things like the size of your lungs and the size of your heart and a few other things, they're just not going to change no matter what hormones you're trying to introduce into a person's body when you get to a certain point of growth. But this video is not about that today, but I'll at least leave a link to one of the videos going over it in the description down below. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Budapest, Hungary, AP. World Swimming's governing body has effectively banned transgender women from competing in women's events starting Monday. FINA members widely adopted a new gender inclusion policy on Sunday that only permits swimmers who transition before age 12 to compete in women's events. The organization also proposed an open competition category. This is not saying that people are encouraged to transition by the age 12. It's what the scientists are saying, that if you transition after the start of puberty, you have an advantage, which is unfair. James Pierce, who is a spokesperson for FINA, President Hussein Al-Masalam, told the Associated Press. They're not saying everyone should transition by age 11. That's ridiculous. You can't transition by that age in most countries, and hopefully you wouldn't be encouraged to. Basically, what they're saying is it's not feasible for people who have transitioned to compete without having an advantage. While yes, it's true, once you hit puberty, a lot of these traits do start to develop, but there are other biological traits that are not entirely linked to puberty. While testosterone and muscle and bone density are definitely affected, and there are plenty of studies that show prepubescent boys versus prepubescent girls and what traits they're already showing before puberty even hits either side. And if I remember, I'll post a couple of those studies in the description down below. Now you guys might be starting to see the writing on the wall. They don't want people to enter unless they started transitioning by the age of 12. And also, like they had said, most countries will not allow this. I have a sneaky suspicion on why that is, but before we jump into that, let's go ahead and finish this up real fast. The World Professional Association for Transgender Health just lowered its recommended minimum age for starting gender transition hormone treatment to 14 and some surgeries to 15 or 17. FINA's new 24-page policy also proposed a new open competition category. The organization said it was setting up a new working group that will spend the next 6 months looking at the most effective ways to set up this new category. Pierce told the AP that the open competition will most likely mean more events, but more details still need to be worked out. Dr. Areza Hamidian Jeromi, I think that's how it's pronounced, probably definitely wrong, co-director of the Gender Affirmation Surgery Center at the Temple University Hospital in Philadelphia, said 12 is an arbitrary age. Is that a specific age that everybody's supposed to have passed through puberty? Because it may not be the case. Age of puberty varies for different people, he said. Jerome said that the transition involves 3 stages: social, medical involving hormones, and surgical. Which of these 3 do they mean? Should the patient have undergone surgery by that time? Which is almost impossible, he said. Keyword there obviously being almost. Now let's jump into my conspiracy theory, you guys. First off, I think it's awfully convenient that they're choosing the ages of 12. Now, while that is pretty common for both boys and girls, somewhere in that range of age 12, 9 to 14 on boys sometimes, whatever, that's not the important part. The important part is they stated that most places will not allow this to happen, which immediately would get you to think like maybe we need to start transitioning these kids earlier in age. Now, while it is true that it's not allowed in a lot of countries to start doing these kind of transitions at such a young age, by having this rule in place, I can see it being used in a courtroom. And what I mean by being used in a courtroom, that laws will be attempted to be passed based on this rule set. A group can try to pass laws depending on the states or the country, that's not really what's important. But by using this framework that people have to be transitioned or undergoing transition by the age of 12, you can see how groups and organizations will use these rules so they can start pushing back ages for kids to start getting hormone therapy or gender reassignment surgeries. I can already picture it, a bill being pushed that states that they need to be allowed to have these surgeries so that they can compete in, sporting events. Because the sporting events rules will now say they have to have started transitioning before the ages of 12. Do you see where I'm getting at here? Now, I might be crazy. I might be connecting some dots that don't exist, but would it be that far-fetched? Would you guys be surprised? And of course, this article goes into more details about other things regarding this that I'm not going over in this video, so I will leave a link to the article in a pinned comment. But as far as what I went over in this video, you guys, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm absolutely crazy, or do you see where I'm coming from on this? I would love to know what you guys are thinking. But as always, do not forget to like or dislike the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys get notified every time I make a new video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.